Hello and welcome everyone. This is going to be an SPCE trade breakdown. So this is going to be a video, as you can see, so I'm going to be able to pause it on certain prints, and we're going to be able to see what certain prints tell us, and we're going to analyze what type of prints they are and what we should be looking for based upon those prints. So a little context here, SPCE on Friday was a huge exception. I mean, it didn't pull back from virtually any level that it needed to. 50, it broke through 50 without a proper pullback, broke through 55 without a proper pullback. It was just an exception that whole day with how much buying there was in it, and it didn't pull back enough per our rules to build. So today I'm going to be looking for a pullback day in it, but I'm not going to be able to base a trade off of that alone. I'm going to be looking for controlling bid prints at each level in order to be able to create a trade based upon those for a short trade, obviously. So we're going to be looking here at the open for bid prints at 57 to be able to make a trade off of. Our print personality right now is about 5 to 6. So we're just going to wait for the open, and we're going to analyze controlling prints, and we're going to create a game plan, price target, stop, entry based upon those controlling prints. So analyzing prints here at open. Nothing at 57. We didn't really, virtually nothing there. So nothing, no bids at 57. Can't use anything to make a trade off of. Can't trade any price action, even though we know they should pull back. That's not how it works. We need the prints to follow to create a game plan off of. So just a waiting game to create a game plan at this point. No controlling prints that we can use quite yet. That's above print personality. Still nothing that stands out that we can use to base a trade off of. Okay, boom. That's our first largest burst in terms of bid prints. So these prints obviously stand out from everything we have seen on the tape, right? We haven't seen any burst this large ask or any type of burst. And so these are bid. So these are 2 to 3 times above print personality. So what is this? These are considered off-level prints, right? Started at 0.63 and went all the way to 0.35, and it was all one timestamp, so it was all one execution. What do these tell us as a trader, right? We understood when we were looking at the tape, we need to find whatever stood out. We need to find the controlling prints. We need to find the bid prints to justify us taking this short. And this person that came in, this person came in with urgency. This is how we look at these. This person wanted to get in, and it didn't matter really what price it was because they know that this is going to break 55 or at least test 55. So these are shorter term in nature. So from these, we can expect a quick little pull up, maybe just 20-30 cents from here, maybe to that print line, and then we can look for a trigger back down. These definitely tell us has the ability to get to 55, but now we need to analyze the rest of the prints, and we need to see if we get controlling prints here. So looking for a quick pull up based upon these prints, and then a trigger back down. 55 would be our price target, and this is all just based off of these prints itself, right? That person has the urgency. They know that this is going to test 55. And then we get followed by bid prints at 56. So looking for a quick pull up here, right? The best case scenario here is we pull up maybe 56.50, and then we get a trigger back down right through that print line, that 55.91 print line. So quick pull up to satisfy these bids per our rules needs a pull up. And these tell us that the pull-up should be fairly quick. So we're going to be looking for that. These definitely go hand in hand. And we're going to be looking for a trigger back short to 55. 55 is going to be our price target. We're going to be looking to risk about 30 cents to make probably over $1. 55, we have to start with there because we know that's a huge level. So holding this 55.91 print line is holding us at the current moment. We need a quick pull up here, and then we need a proper trigger. So we want a proper trigger to break all the way through that print line. So quick pull up here, 50 cent pull up I'll take. Obviously if we get great buying that steps in above this print line, we could have a larger pull up, right? Depending on the reaction prints. But I'm not seeing any buying whatsoever, so I'm sticking with the quick pull up, 50 cents ish, and then a trigger back down. Some more bids at 56. It broke through. I mean, we didn't really get enough of a pull up there, to be honest. 56 bids. A reaction under, I mean, was the bids, but we haven't seen any off level reaction under to show that this is gonna go. So quick pull up here. We had more at 56, so quick pull up off there, and then we take another trigger down right after this little quick pull up. Would say this is enough of a pull up here. If we get the next bar to trigger down under this print line, we take that under 56 right here. Quick dollar to start the morning off. So that, I would say this is enough of a pull up if we get the right selling under. I mean, and that person already told us that pull up's gonna be super quick, so I'm not really expecting much. And we're expecting a trigger here, reaction 0.70 bids, 0.50 bids. So we're in the short under 56. We would have a stop set above. I would most likely let it test this bar if it broke above. Some more bids at 0.50. That short-term burst that we paused on really showed us how to interpret every other controlling bid print. It showed us that this move was going to be shorter term, and they weren't going to pull it up very much, just from that one off-level burst that was above print personality. So nice selling there, 0.15. Really should test 55 here. That person didn't print that position for anything less than $1.50 really. So still expecting more of a continuation here. So boom, 55 bids. Those were bids. I ended up watching on my other computer that those were executed bids. Those are 5 times above print personality. So from there, this is our trade right here. And our reaction, what's our reaction? Buying. We needed a great sell reaction under off level to show this was going to get continuation. Those 55 bids above print personality tell us that per rules that should pull up to at least 56. So that was the end of our trade there. Expecting a bar here pull up to 56 just because the amount of bids at 55 were so great, and then our reaction under. So we would have held a little more of our runner of our position if the reaction under 55 was similar to what we had at that where I paused. So we needed a great short-term selling under, which we haven't seen. Short-term selling under that was above print personality, I should say, and we haven't really seen that at all. It's really been a mix, and if anything, I would put the money flow more on the buy side. So that was our trade there from 56 to 55. We still have room under, definitely. The amount of selling at 55, that shows us that we have the ability to continue down under 54, but we have to expect a quick pull up here. And then once this pull up happens to probably about 56, could be 57 because that's how large that selling was. And then we're looking for a trigger back down. But overall, knowing how much it printed at 55 in terms of bids, we have to limit our exposure, right? We have to take off some of our trade lock and our profit because we know our rules tell us that needs a large pull up. Even if we do get a bar down here, it's good to follow our rules and have a game plan set. And obviously, we haven't seen that short-term sell under 55. That shows we're going to get continuation. So those two things right there, hand in hand, really show me that this should pull up to 56. And I don't want to give up any of my profit, my trade. And we're just consolidating here and entering a volume dip, as you can see. So we're definitely entering a volume pattern here. So expect a bar coming soon. I would definitely expect the pull up here. And then once we get this pull up, this is a number 3 trade right here. So long off of bid prints that are above print personality. And then we're going to be looking for a number 2 short trade after the pull up happens. Back down to 55. So just anticipating that pull up. Keeping on how large the buying is that steps in. That'll give us an indication of how large the pull up's going to be. If we get significant buying here, we can expect a pull up to 57. If it's just 1 or 2 prints, it's mediocre, I would expect a pull up to around this print line and then a trigger back down. And our trigger back down needs to be obvious. It'll be close to a dollar bar, most likely, for a proper trigger back down to 55 for a number 2 trade short. And we're still setting up for a volume bar as well. So as you can see, the off level has really not been in terms of shorter term buying, so not expecting more than $1.50 pull up. So see how that 55 really told us that we needed to get out of our short. It doesn't mean that the overall short is over. It just means our trade for the short is over in that time. So we know that's going to give us a pull up, and then we can look for another trigger back down short after it pulls up. It's just understanding really your 1 through 4 trades. 55 really being a psych level as well. We know we see a lot of pull ups and pullbacks from those levels, so I would be okay with the trigger down here if it was a strong trigger. And we know it really should break 55 and get us down to 54. So if we get a strong trigger back down here, I would definitely have an order set under 55.50 for a proper trigger. Some decent buying there. Some ask at 56. A trigger right off this print line back to 55 would be ideal. Just looking perfect. Anticipating our trigger coming in soon. Definitely would be under 55.50. I don't want to really take a normal price action bar and be shaken out and have this stock continue on its pull up. I really want this pullback or this trigger down back to 55 to be clear and to be able to identify it very clearly. Some great selling there, 0.50 and under. Boom, there's your trigger. That's right there. That's it right there. More bids at 55, but it also leaked under. If you can see, it went from 55 all the way to 0.80s. So this really should continue. If it does pull up here, it'll be just a slight pull up from the 55 because we already know we got the pull up once from the 55 bid. So not expecting as much of a pull up this time around. Could have a possible slight pull up, but I'm not expecting another dollar. And I'm looking for a price target of 54 right here. So looking for that continuation, that short term selling under. Would have been in under 55.50, had an order ready for that. I'm looking to break this double bottom right here. Just need the selling. So the way it printed at 55, but it also leaked under, told us that it's not really looking to pull up and build as much as it previously did. So it's more shorter term in nature. So we're looking for that continuation down to 54. Volume is great. Still have more range, 287 on the day. Definitely we're going to hit the $5 to $7 range today, so not worried about any range to the downside. And the selling support, the amount of selling we have at 55 really should get us to 53 to be conservative, but taking it a level at a time right now, starting with 54. 55.10, that's interesting reaction there. That possibly could give us a larger of a pull-up. I definitely wouldn't say 56, but maybe 55.50 of a pull-up. But it really just seemed like some covering there, to be honest. It just doesn't really make sense in that situation to be buying. Just need that continuation right now. Looks like we're setting up for a bar, and it's just holding this double bottom. We need the selling to break this double bottom. Boom, 0.77. Check that out. That tells us we have the ability to get to 54. Those are, again, significant off-level selling above print personality, similar to where we paused earlier. These are obviously a little less, but this shows us that we have the ability to break to 54 right now. I'm not going to be looking for that large of a pull-up, if any at all. This is a good sign if we're in our trade right now, that shows that we're going to get to 54. Again, this is urgency. This is someone that knows that this is going to break. This is going to continue under 55, and we're going to test 54, if not break 54. So that person confirms our continuation to the downside. Off level selling above print personality. Another burst followed, some more shorter term selling. Just expecting a bar here at this point. Boom. There's our continuation under. Pretty much hits our price target there. We're a few cents away from our price target, but overall, let's see what it prints at 54 here. Might just bounce off here. Just gotta be careful from not hitting and bouncing. Some bid prints at 54. So again, same situation to where we have to limit our exposure. Let's see what our reaction under is, which is minimal sell. Let's see. We really need some great selling to show that. I scroll up here. We really need some great selling under to show that we're not going to get another pull up. So I would have limited my exposure, taken most of my trade off there, locked in $1 plus on that trade, because our reaction to the 54 bids was, it's been mixed. Haven't really seen a strong reaction for our rules that says that should pull up, but I would have definitely locked in 60-70% of my trade and let the rest of this trade play out. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much the end of this trade. I hope you guys learned something from this in terms of off-level prints and how to combine those with our prints at a controlling level and how that can help you identify time frame and timing. So enjoy the rest of this short clip, and thank you for making it this far if you have.